6'4" from Illinois, number 11, Derek Harper. At guard, at 6'5" from North Carolina, number 44, Hubert Davis. At forward, at 6'8" from St. Louis, number 4, Anthony Bonner. At forward, at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center, at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The head trainer is Mike Saunders, the assistant trainer Tim Walsh, assistant coaches Dick Harder and Chip Van Gundy, and the head coach of the Knicks, Pat Riley.
Well, John, according to research conducted by the Elias Sports Bureau, that Knicks' current defensive streak, 7 consecutive sub-90-point opposition games, one shy, as it turns out, of an all-time NBA record since the inception of the 24-second clock. The old Syracuse Nationals back in the 54-55 season when you were just a child, John.
I was just thinking you were the ball boy for the Nets. That was my line.
That's incorrect. I lived in New York. I was a ball boy. I was a ball boy for the Knicks, though, in the early 60s.
Oh, I thought that was your first job with Syracuse.
Let's not get crazy. You're jumping on me here at the start, and when you watch it on Nick Rewind, you will regret it. You know, you search through your conscience when you've heard these things later as you try to jump in early.
According to your prior references, this might be edited out of Nick Rewind, but I'll look for it.
But since the inception of the 24-second clock, that all-time NBA mark, most consecutive defensive games under 90 points, 8 by the Syracuse Nats, and the Knicks are gunning for that record. The Nats of Dolph Schayes, Paul Seymour, Earl Squirrel Lloyd, and John Kerr.
Ed Conlon.
Was he on that squad?
No, he wasn't. I just thought I'd mention that.
Quarter man. Syracuse went 6-2 during that 8-game streak, and the Knicks over there, 7, have won all 7 games. Hubert Davis off the mark, rebounded by Charles Oakley. He surprised Derek Harper with the pass, and the ball goes to the Bucks. The officials, Jack Neese, Ronnie Dunn, and Michael Smith. Eric Murdoch using the pick, try to lose Harper, and Murdoch goes all the way, and that is rejected by Anthony Bonner. Murdoch tried to steal. He's among the steal leaders, but Bonner protected the dribble, and it's deflected out, last touched by the Bucks.
Anthony Bonner right into the heavy effort. Beautiful play by him. Bonner with the defensive intimidation. You don't often see that from him, but it comes in handy when Patrick Ewing isn't there.
Well, Derek Harper hitting on his first field goal attempt. We were discussing Derek right at the start. Season high 17 points against the Pacers, plus 12 assists, which tied a Knick season high. Derek Harper starting in the backcourt once again with Hubert Davis. Trying the extra pass, looking for Baker, and it cost. Harper able to work his way in, and Bonner completes it.
You know, Mark, the start by Bonner here, I know we're only in the opening minute, is very suggestive of the game, the first meeting between these two teams on November 13th here in New York. Bonner had his season-high 17.
Oh! Oakley and Ewing in a collision. Ewing shaken up, slow to get up. Play continues. Barry not able to hit. And Oakley rebounds. Patrick Ewing still shaking it off.
Patrick's still down on the count here. Charles was smiling actually after he ran away. He thought that was playful from his perspective.
Apparently Ewing is all right. A little dazed. Goes to the jump shot of force and hits it. Well, Patrick may be saying, give me some more of that contact.
I doubt it. He's still holding his jaw.
The Knicks 6 and the Bucks nothing. Again, they double up. Barry gets it down low, and Ken Norman converts for Milwaukee.
Let's take a look at this untimely collision between the Knicks' two big men. Well, I guess we learned something about Patrick Ewing's ability to withstand his power forward teammates' blows.
Here's Davis. Obvious Ewing just can't take a shot in the chest, Jim. You know, there's some guys who can't take punches in the jaw. Baker with the follow.
A lot of people are proud of this guy because of plays like that. His second and third effort is really noteworthy.
The Knicks 6 and the Bucks 4. Eric Murdoch comes off a 32-point game in the loss the other night against Miami that equaled his career high. Here's Murdoch. And Ewing with the rebound. Game opening at a very quick pace. 3 minutes have gone by. Ewing is fouled. Fouled by Baker. That is his first. Another look at the giant collision. This is normal speed on the replay as Ewing is sent flying. Oakley really pursues the ball.
Interesting. Oakley was more stationary than Patrick Ewing was. Patrick really bounced off him.
So Ewing to the line for 2.
Patrick Ewing did not play in the last meeting between these teams in Milwaukee. He was coming off that blow to the neck from Rick Smits of Indiana in the prior game in January. He sat it out. It was a very close game that the Knicks Bucks played on January 6th. In fact, 92-86 game, and Pat Riley was very unhappy at the Knicks' inability to sustain a lead against this weaker Milwaukee team after that game.
Norman guarded by Oakley. Charles Oakley still bothered by numbness in his left hand, able to hang in the game the other night. Played very well against the Pacers, hustling all over the floor. Nice play by Charles right there on the deflection.
Charles keeping that defensive hand in at Norman's waist. And when that ball was presented to Norman, Oakley's hand was right there. And another turnover by Milwaukee.
Bonner posting up. And as Bonner makes his move, the outside official, Ronnie Nunn, with the indication of a traveling violation. The Knicks won the earlier meeting here at the Garden, as you mentioned, back in mid-November, 99-86. And in Milwaukee on the 6th of January, Knicks won 92-86. Had a difficult time. They allowed the Bucks back into that game. Knicks have beaten Milwaukee 4 straight, 7 of the last 8. Here's Baker. Bucks able to keep it alive. Murdoch for Norman. And offensive foul call. It's been a delightful first quarter for Patrick Ewing, taking his second shot. This time, the foul is called on the play.
I don't know how Norman ignored Ewing, but he tried to, although he wasn't going to shoot the ball.
Harper with a beautiful move. Derek Harper continues to penetrate effectively. That's the case the other night against Indiana.
He has a series of very deceptive changes of pace as he drives.
Knicks 10, Bucks 4. Murdoch for Baker. Beautifully timed. You can see Vin Baker fooled Patrick Ewing. He put the move on, and that was a set play.
That was just great. It was so beautifully executed. Baker with the eye look to Murdoch, and they were right together, and the execution was terrific, so fast.
The Knicks 10 and Milwaukee 6. Ewing rebounded by Baker. Baker handling the ball well, saw the opening. Well, Ewing lost him.
I think Patrick might be a little groggy from that collision with Oakley. He just turned his back to that action.
The Knicks lead 10-8. Ewing getting down low, but Murdoch over to make a good play to knock it aside. And a timeout is called by the Knicks. They lead by 2.
his teammate Eric Murdoch just worked out a beautiful play which left Patrick Ewing enjoying it as much as we did. Baker was not picked up on the last transition situation. He came down for his own slam dunk. He is developing so quickly.
Shot clock was running down. In fact, it is a 24-second violation, so that obliterates the Milwaukee attempt at a fast break, and the Bucks will put it in play.
Talking about Vin Baker's hand injury, not much was said about it, but the coaching staff, as Derek Harper tries to steal that ball from Murdoch and commits the foul, although he's not happy about it, as you can see. But Baker hurt his hand on Ronnie Cycli's shirt as they became entangled, obviously pretty violently, to the tune of 15 stitches on a shirt collision.
Baker now played by Oakley. And he's fouled. Vinny Baker showing some nice moves here at the start. Foul committed by Charles Oakley. That is his first. 6:16 to go in this first quarter. The Knicks 10, the Bucks 8.
Imagine how Mike Dunleavy, Marv, and his staff felt when they went out on a limb and drafted a guy who played at the University of Hartford. Not in any way to denigrate Hartford. There's Mike, Frank Hamblin, and Butch Carter, former Knick to Mike's left. But the University of Hartford didn't play that big-time schedule, and they made him their first draft pick. And boy, has their judgment been on target. He is coming on strong. This is the star in the making.
So often that type of pick does not work out because it's difficult to measure how good a guy is again. Oh, there's a block.
Wow.
Beautiful block by Baker. It's tough to measure the quality of the opposition. Norman for Edwards, and he's fouled. A hard foul by Bonner. And Blue Edwards will go to the line.
Patrick Ewing going to his characteristic jump shot. Now you're going to see something I don't think we've seen all year. Vin Baker blocking it. Baker 6'11". At the other end, the Bucks pushing the ball up court quickly. Blue Edwards will now go to the foul line.
Blue Edwards at the line. 2 shots.
Blue Edwards, a 79% free throw shooter. Blue has had a disappointing season for the Bucks. He was a first-round pick of Utah, acquired by Milwaukee in that deal involving Eric Murdoch and Jay Humphries and Larry Krystkowiak. This is second season with the Bucks. He was a name mentioned in that blockbuster speculated 4-team deal involving the Knicks, a deal that would have brought Danny Manning to New York. Knicks 10. The Bucks 9. Oakley. Tip missed by Ewing. Rebounded by Norman.
He didn't give himself a good enough look at the basket before he shot that. He rushed it a bit.
Norman off the dribble. And he's allowed to penetrate. Bucks take a 1-point lead. 7-0 run by Milwaukee. Davis. Yes. In the face of John Barry.
Barry, like Hubert, can shoot the threes, and he knows about long-range shooting, and he was surprised, I think. He thought he had enough pressure on Hubert.
12-11, Knicks with the lead. Harper knocks it away, but Murdoch recovers. Nice save. Oh, Edwards thought he had it, but he stepped out and slammed the table right in front of Milwaukee color commentator John McLaughlin.
All the credit on that turnover by Milwaukee goes to this guy. Derek Harper made it miserable getting that ball up court for Milwaukee.
I wonder, was that something personal in the direction of John McLaughlin?
Never know.
Illegal defense call for the first time. All right, here's another look at it.
Oh, Blue Edwards comes down in frustration. I think not, Marv. I think he was just disappointed.
Happenstance. John McLaughlin, Jim Paschke, the television voices of the Milwaukee Bucks. Harper for 3. Yes. Derek Harper hitting the three-pointer. He was 1 for his last 9 from downtown.
That's an example of the focus on Ewing. The defense really was more concerned about him, and Harper had another answer.
The Knicks lead 15-11. as we come up on 4 minutes to go. First quarter. Baker. And a whistle. Illegal defense. So the Knicks are hit with the illegal defense for the first time.
You can see how difficult it must be to guard Vin Baker, because with his back to you, he starts wheeling, and he's very explosive.
Listed at 6'11 and a half, 234 pounds. Has a nice outside touch. Very mobile, as you can see. That time, as you can see, he was rejected. Bonner going all the way. Nice play by Edwards, got a piece of it. Oakley feeding a bit too deep for Bonner, and he has to flip it out. Picked off by Murdoch. Murdoch tried to turn Hopper around. Gorgeous pass to Barry. What a play by Eric Murdoch.
That is the fun of basketball, seeing that kind of passing.
Knicks lead 15-13. Hopper. And Barry let it carry out of bounds, so it will be Milwaukee ball. The Bucks at 17-45. That's the 4th worst record in the league. They're 6th in the Central, 26 games back. They've lost 5 in a row. They've won only 9 of 29 on the road. Here's Baker getting inside, but the Bucks are looking very sharp in this first quarter. They've tied the game at 15.
This is one of those games for the undermanned Bucks, supposedly undermanned when you look at the roster, that they can be so loose. Oh, Ewing to Bonner, beautifully done. Rather make that Oakley to Bonner. But they know they're going home at the end of April, at the end of the regular season. So they're playing just for fun and for jobs next year, and for the coach right now. They're loose.
The Knicks 17, the Bucks 15, 2.5 left in this opening quarter. That's a 3-point attempt by Edwards. So the ball goes back to the Knicks, but first a timeout is called. The Knicks lead by 2. We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, is this space taken?
No.
Then I'll sit down.
You want a Bud Light?
Not yet.
Hey, wait a minute. That's my Bud Light.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
How about a little help here?
As the amount you spend with your Discover card
Patrick Ewing, who's squeezed by the defense. Charles Oakley sees an opening and gets that ball to Anthony Bonner for a beautiful finish. Canon Technology and MCS Service. One is a great reason to buy the other.
2:27 remaining first quarter. Pat Riley with substitutions. Charles Smith, who played well off the bench against the Pacers on Tuesday, and Anthony Mason check in for the first time, replacing Charles Oakley and Anthony Bonner.
Charles Smith in 26 minutes against Indiana the other night. 4 out of 9 from the field, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 5 of them offensive rebounds.
Hopper and Davis remain in the backcourt. Greg Anthony is available after that bout with the flu that kept him out in the second half against the Pacers. Baker has it knocked away, last touched by Ewing. The Bucks remaining the same. Murdoch and Barry in the backcourt. Edwards, Baker, and Norman up front. Murdoch handling against Hopper. Now Ken Norman being guarded by Anthony Mason. Mason jumping out on Murdoch. Shot clock is down to 4. Barry for 3 and then some. Firing from way out.
And not missing by much. Good shooters are always around the rim, and that goes in the Barry family.
Smith gets possession. Charles Smith got the good position but could not convert. Norman Nice move. Ken Norman, originally a first-round draft pick of the Los Angeles Clippers back in '87, spent 6 years with the Clippers, so he was a one-time teammate of Charles Smith in Los Angeles. Patrick Ewing gives the Knicks a 19-17 lead. Ken Norman signed with the Bucks as a free agent in his 7th year out of Illinois, and not very happy in Milwaukee. Finds a floating lead that is broken up. Now Rolando Blackman and Greg Anthony come on for the first time. New backcourt for the Knicks. Greg Anthony, as I mentioned a moment ago, bothered by the flu the other day, had to sit out in the second half, and Rolando Blackman trying to work out of it. Last 3 games, he has matched the stats of Michael Jordan, 2 for 19.
Oh, Marv, feeding on those numbers, very good. But he will not be in the minor leagues in a week or so, as Michael will be.
And I'm told by sources close to Michael, he doesn't mind it at all. He's planning to play a year in the minors. Give it a shot. Mason. Well, Anthony Mason showing some range with the jump shot.
You know what you can see right with the Milwaukee defense? It just isn't that intense. 3, 4 passes, the Knicks get an open shot.
That's a 3-point attempt. Lou Edwards hits the 3, and then had something to say in the direction of Ray and Gus Williams, John.
That's right.
Sitting courtside.
Ray in the front row. Ray in a very expensive seat tonight with his brother behind him.
Ray Williams will be on the roster for the Knicks Legends game here at the Garden Saturday. Ewing from way out. And the Knicks lead 23-20. That'll be the 5th annual Sharp Electronics Knicks Legends game. Murdoch trying to beat the buzzer. Saturday afternoon following the Knicks and the Boston Celtics. And Ray Williams will be on hand. That's Ray with the hat, John. After
Very
1,
cool.
Knicks by 3.
Every Saturn is designed to help protect your engine, your life, and your wallet. One of the nice things about leasing a Saturn is knowing it won't leave your wallet on empty.
And the NBA.
Welcome back to the Garden. Sitting in the seats that belong to the Giants, NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. It strikes me, Commissioner, that you're here watching a lot of 2-point conversions.
Well, that's true. We're looking at it at our league meeting next week, so it's fun to come over here and watch it in another sport.
Also interesting to note that you played hoops at Georgetown and wore the same number that Patrick Ewing did, 33, and of course it's retired now. No one else will wear it. You must feel good about that.
Well, I really do. The only problem is it was retired after Patrick wore it, not after I wore it.
Now, as the record book shows, you also had big showdowns with John Andres in college basketball. You have remembrances of that?
Well, I'm kind of drawing a blank on that, frankly.
No surprise here, Marv.
Little punchline set up. Very nice.
Some sense of humor.
Drawing a blank.
Well, he should, because Georgetown was the loser.
Those were different days, obviously.
They were.
The Rams of Fordham far superior to the Hoyas of Paul Tagliabue's Georgetown club. Blackman called for the foul as the second quarter gets underway. New faces on the floor for Milwaukee. Lee Mayberry has come on for the first time, second-year man from Arkansas, as we watch Blue Edwards continue to struggle at the foul line. Mike Jaminski, who came over from Charlotte in that deal involving Frank Burkowski. He has checked in for the first time. And Derek Strong, in his 3rd season out of Xavier of Ohio, who's been receiving more playing time as of late, also has checked in while the Knicks remain the same. Here's Greg Anthony. Rebound, Ewing. Patrick Ewing getting inside on Mike Jaminski.
Well, Patrick will have too much quickness for Mike. However, Mike, will be tough for Patrick if they start banging and getting physical.
The Knicks lead 25-20. Anthony, nice play. Picks it off. Mason protecting the dribble.
Automatically, 2 to 3 defenders go at Ewing when he gets the ball.
Blackman. Rebounded by Cheminsky. And the foul is called with Ewing and Mason converging. It's on Mason. Herb Williams will come on for Patrick Ewing, who sits down with 10 points, 6 rebounds. The Knicks with Herb Williams, Anthony Mason, Charles Smith up front. Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley discussing their collision, we assume, back in the first quarter. Anthony with another steal.
Boy, it's tough to take a pass out of the air like Anthony's done twice.
And Blackman is hit on a reach-in by Edwards.
Orlando trying so hard to think positively about his game. Anthony with the hands up took that pass out of the air. Knicks advanced the ball and now will inbound it on the side by the Knicks bench.
Ben Baker is back. Ken Norman and Blue Edwards sitting down. John Barry has returned. Blackman a little too much on it. Could not be handled by Smith. Cheminsky now guarded by Williams. Barry and Mayberry in the backcourt. Strong is up front with Cheminsky and Baker. So now Baker operating at a forward position. Baker gets inside and draws the foul. Now down the road, the Bucks hope, if they get a viable center, Vin Baker then will shift to what they consider to be his natural position at a forward spot.
Power forward, yes. He can face the basket and be very effective. You can see his legs. He kind of dances on the court. His legs move so quickly. He's very fluid, and he would have no trouble facing the basket. Talking to Mike Dunleavy before the game about him, he said he is perfect as a player, as a competitor. He said if I had 5 guys like that, there'd just be no problems. Tell him something once, and he listens and responds. Heaps of praise to Baker as a player and equally as a person.
Born in Lake Wells, Florida, grew up in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. His dad, James, is a Baptist minister, and Vince sang in his father's church choir in Old Saybrook. From the University of Hartford, and he was 4th in the nation in scoring last season at Hartford, averaging 28 points per game.
Speaking of Mike Dunleavy, who doubles as coach and also top management for the Milwaukee Bucks, Mike told me he was out at the Nassau Coliseum today watching the NCAA games. I know Connecticut had a tussle for a while before they won, but he wears 2 hats, and that's what happens when you wear 2 hats.
To wear them on top of each other?
Well, actually, as Orlando breaks the poor shooting streak, it means that you got to be a lot of places every day. You've got to watch at this time of year the college guys and also concentrate on winning at night. I'm sorry to give you such a straight answer, Marv.
Explaining it to me. Blackman had missed his last 11 shots before hitting that jumper. Barry trying to go back door, rebounded by Mason. Mason chasing it down, knocked out of bounds by Baker. Now the Bucks, Derek Strong trying to take the ball from Ronnie Nunn as if to indicate it was knocked out of bounds by the Knicks. But Ronnie realized. And Blackman is able to hit, but it will not count. It's a traveling violation.
Oh, Pat Riley very unhappy about that. And he expressed it to Ronnie Nunn.
Blackman also with some extra words in the direction of Nunn and being warned And he's been hit with a technical foul. Rolando Blackman running the length of the floor to follow Ronnie Nunn. And it cost him. Had some words. John Barry hits the technical.
Well, the official has to call a technical on a play like that. He's not going to be demeaned, so to speak, publicly by a player. And Nunn did his job, even though Blackman's a great guy.
Knicks lead 27-22. 3 minutes have gone by in the second quarter. Foul call away from the ball as Smith looked to get position on Baker. Charles Smith picks it up. Rolando Blackman still hot, being calmed down by Herb Williams.
So I think what the official Ron Nunn reacted to was Charles Smith's elbows were very high around the shoulders and neck of Baker on that play.
Anthony with another steal. 3-on-2. Anthony delivers to Williams. Knicks lead 29-22. Greg Anthony with his third steal of this first half. Kaminsky played by Mason. Here is Barry. Fouled by Blackman. John Barry, the son of Hall of Famer Rick Barry. He was a first-round draft pick of the Boston Celtics. They were not able to come to terms with Barry, and he was acquired from the Celtics in a deal involving Ala Abdul Nabi. John Barry in his second season out of Georgia Tech. Look at the Bucks, 3 of 9 from the line.
John Barry fits into the future of the Bucks, it appears. There was some doubt in the beginning, but as this franchise commits itself to youth and building through the draft, which is one reason why they traded Frank Burkowski, their leading scorer, sometime back, a couple of weeks back. But Barry has impressed the coaching staff with his passing ability, which Mike Dunleavy told me is very similar to his great passing father, Rick Barry, and of course his shooting.
You look at that draft, and it's so easy to second guess. Herb Williams, yes. Boston could have drafted Oliver Miller, who was taken by Phoenix, but at the time, Oliver Miller, as he does now, has enormous problems with his weight, and the Celtics did not want to deal with that, and that turned a lot of people off on Oliver Miller. He was a very fine player, and hey, even Paul Westphal recently, before Miller was injured, was upset. In fact, took him out of the starting lineup because he was upset about the excessive weight. Beautiful pass from Anthony, setting up Mason. Knicks lead 33-24.
Greg Anthony, coming off the flu 48 hours ago, is sparkling here in the first half.
Timeout taken by the Bucks.
Right now, you can lease the car that's changing everything. Dodge Intrepid for just $239 a month. Just $239 for Intrepid. With speed control, power windows and locks, and AM/FM cassette. Plus standard dual airbags, air, automatic, and more. Intrepid gets glowing reviews from the automotive and popular press alike. And with a lease price this low, you'll warm up to Intrepid in no time, too. The $239 Intrepid lease. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
For moments when there's no time to waste, Cellular One and Nobody Beats the Whiz put you in touch automatically in over 300 cities across North America.
Hello. Boomer.
Knicks Legends game. We'll see the likes of Dave DeBusschere and Howard Comives and Bob McAdoo here at the Garden. Look at Greg Anthony, who has played very well at making his return from the flu.
As Greg looks very sharp. A lot of great names Saturday, Marv, as you mentioned. Some local guys, too. Freddie Crawford, who used to play for the Knicks. Tom Sanders be making an appearance.
Eric Murdoch cutting it to a 33-26 Knick lead. That's the first field goal for the Bucks since the final seconds of the first quarter. Anthony for 3. Williams able to keep it alive. Knicks have hit 5 of 8 from the field here in this second quarter. Good follow by Williams, and the Knicks now lead 35-26. Incidentally, on Knicks game night on Tuesday prior to the Knicks Chicago Bull game, we'll have a feature, a look back at all the action from Saturday's Knicks Legends game. On that NBA Legends squad, Oscar Robertson, Norm Van Leer, mentioned Freddie Crawford, jumping Johnny Green, one of your favorites, the Blaze. Smith takes the pass and is fouled. He's held by Norman. Carol Blazejowski will be on the floor. And I know Carol's still in very fine shape. She could dominate.
Be very interesting. Met Carol the other day for the first time at the luncheon for the Legends, and she appreciated the remarks made earlier when her Hall of Fame announcement was made. Some of us got rather excited about her career statistics. Knicks pushing that ball up court, finding holes in the Milwaukee defense quite readily. Charles Smith faking his way to the foul line during the foul.
You know, I asked Clyde Frazier before the game, will he be in action? He was originally listed on the Knicks roster, but Clyde said he will be Red Holzman's assistant on Saturday.
Hey, how about the name Slater Martin?
One of my favorites.
One of the NBA legends, also scheduled to appear. But the pressure will be on the Pearl, making his Madison Square Garden coaching debut, Earl Monroe.
Murdoch with 4 points. Bucks get it back on the turnover. Knicks now lead 36-28. It's a goaltender or a foul. Let's see. Apparently a foul is called on Williams. Knicks over the limit, so Norman will go to the line. Clyde Frazier also came off the bench for Greg Anthony yesterday with should say Vin Baker to the line instead of Norman, with Anthony sidelined with the flu. Clyde pinch hit for Greg at a party for terminally ill youngsters at Computer Associate headquarters on Long Island. Clyde a last-minute substitution for Greg, and has made the announcement. I believe there will be a press conference after the game. He will be assisting Red on Saturday. Anthony Mason extending to a 38-30 lead. 5:45 to go in this first half.
Red Holzman graciously reminded me the other day, Marv, that I owe him for putting me in the game when John Cirillo asked me to play in the Legends game a couple of years ago, and I was very proud because I had a hoop, which Red remembered. What a coach.
They have not invited you back, though, John. Here's Mason.
Oh, that's because Slater Martin could make it.
But I would not take it personally.
I won't, believe me.
22nd timeout is called by Mike Dunleavy. Knicks have a 10-point lead. It is their biggest of the game with 5:20 to go in this first half. The Knicks bench outscoring the Bucks bench 17-0.
Well, tonight at midnight, it will be Knicks Rewind once again. And you'll get a chance to watch this game. Speaking with Dennis D'Agostino, Marv, earlier this evening of the Knicks front office. And Dennis reminding me to remind you that your suggestion of edits being made in our commentary the other night actually didn't turn out. Dennis watched the entire rewind and he said everything was there. No editing took place. I guess everything said the other night was right on target for our producer.
What you're saying is that Dennis, after being here watching the game, after spending his entire day involved with Knick matters, then watched the game again on Knick Rewind.
Yes.
Dennis requiring much help.
Dennis loves his job.
Yes, he
and
does.
Never sleeps.
Knicks by 10 as we come up on 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Murdoch with the step. Gets it up over Williams. Kept alive. Then Baker. Baker again. And Williams with the rebound. Charles Oakley now up front with Herb Williams and Anthony Mason. Joe Courtney has come on for the first time for the Bucks. One-time Phoenix Sun. Barry behind the back for Murdoch. Not able to hit the three. Bucks have gone cold here in the second quarter. Blackman off the dribble. And a block by Baker. And last touch by the Knicks. There's Dennis mulling the night, thinking ahead that he'll have another opportunity to check in on Knicks Rewind tonight. Rolando Blackman and Charles Smith sit down, and Hubert Davis and Patrick Ewing have come on. Baker's pass behind Murdoch. Ewing off a double team, pops it back out. Ewing, yes. 12 points for Ewing, and the Knicks lead by 12.
That unhappy face from Ewing is because he thought he was pushed on that play.
Courtney now up front with Norman and Baker. Barry is run into by Oakley.
Will he get 2 shots? That is the question. He flipped that ball up when the whistle was blown.
Well, the Knicks over the foul limit, so he will get the 2.
John Barry moving without the ball. And when he stopped, the collision took place. As I mentioned before, John Barry is really in the future of this franchise. John, the son of ex-NBA great and former CBA coach Rick Barry, who was dropped from his CBA coaching job recently after a losing streak. Talking to Mike Dunleavy, who's a good friend of Rick Barry, before the game about it. He hadn't spoken to Rick, but it's hard to believe that he will not pick up somewhere in the professional ranks for his many abilities.
Knicks now lead by 10. Offer back along with Davis. Oakley, air ball, fielded by Mason. Shot clock at 5. Mason. It counts, and the foul. I don't know, John, does anyone have that much on the ball, that much reverse English around the league as compared to the way Mason shoots it?
I guess you could say that he got the roll.
Whoa. And then back to the live action. Hits the free throw. 3-point play for Anthony Mason. The Knicks 45 and the Bucks 32. 3 minutes to go, first half. This is Joe Courtney. Oakley was looking to fire it down, but could not find anyone. Barry with the steal. Harper back. Nice play, Barry for Murdoch. And the Knicks lead is now 11. Harper and Davis in the backcourt. Oakley, Ewing, Mason up front. Davis. Mason on the rebound. Nice pass. Charles Oakley with his first field goal.
The Bucks do not have the monster in the middle. Vin Baker is certainly tall at 6'11", but he doesn't have that real defensive, intimidating presence.
Barry. Oakley controls. Knicks lead 47-34. Ewing. Basket won't count. Hit on a reach-in. Foul on Baker. His second. Timeout is taken by the Knicks. 2 minutes left in this first half.
The Yanks battle the White Sox from Lauderdale Saturday night on MSG.
Your style is a personal signature, but style should never overwhelm substance. Mastering both is how you win.
Continental Executive Touring Edition. $482 a month, no down payment. A moving combination of style and substance. Motivating lease terms with nothing down through April 5th. Make your executive decision now.
Lincoln Continental. Style, substance, mastery. At your Lincoln Mercury dealer, everybody wins.
Shop. Nemo's. It's for everyone.
You've got to love it.
Nemo's got beware. Got it.
Nemo's got jeans.
Call 212-465-4100. It's a future camper, Marv. Talking about the young lady in the arms of
yes,
what appears to be her mom.
Oh, a little disclaimer.
A very young mother, I would think. So one never knows.
John, wait a second.
Could be an older sister.
I'd leave it alone.
Could be an aunt.
Right. Knicks by 13. Oakley's pass off the mark. Here's Barry eluding Oakley. Beautiful move by John Barry, who's had a terrific first half. Buck shooting only 4 of 15. Knicks 11 of 19. Another bad pass. Barry on the run, delivers to Norman. Third assist for Barry. And the Knicks now lead 47-38.
That is why teams continue to double and triple team Patrick Ewing. The percentages are pretty good.
Mason, yes. Anthony Mason is now 6 for 6 from the field. He has 13 points. Knicks lead 49-38. Mason leading the Knicks in scoring. Baker getting it inside. Good interior pass. Norman beating Oakley along the baseline.
Some fundamental breakdowns by the Knicks, allowing offensive players to cross right in front of defensive players under the basket.
Davis to the left hand. The Knicks 51. The Bucks 40. The Knicks bench outscoring Milwaukee's bench 22-0. The Knicks have also done it off the boards here in the second quarter. That's Brad Lohaus, who just checked in for the first time. Shot clock at 2. And we are now down to 15 seconds left in this first half, and the Knicks indicate that they will hold for a final shot. 10 seconds remaining. Knicks lead by 11. Down to 5. Here's Mason, rejected, recovered by Oakley, and he's fouled. Charles Oakley fouled. Lohaus called for the foul. Let's see if time had run out in the first half, or will they put something back on the clock. The scoreboard showing zeros, and now they make the adjustment. 1/10 of a second remaining in the half.
Now that's precise officiating. Rod Thorne and Matt Winnick from the NBA front office are very proud of observations by their officials such as that.
You know, John, it's been an enormous name-dropping first half for you. It's unbelievable.
Wait a minute. 1.1.
Right. So a further adjustment. Are you running for something?
Actually, Marv, I'm trying to imitate the very successful career of Dick Vitale.
What's that? You're closing in here.
He signed a long-term contract with ESPN, right. And I figure if you name dropped it like crazy, why, that'll get you places. It's the greatest form of flattery, imitation.
And yet another adjustment. 4/10 of a second remaining. Now you wonder how they would determine that. You know, it's all thought process. They're not checking out any
greatness,
replay.
Marv. It's greatness
right.
at work.
Oh, here we go. Knicks lead 52-40. Charles Oakley gunning for his 4th point of the half. Anthony Mason, high man for the Knicks with 13. Patrick Ewing has 12. Vin Baker leading the Bucks with 12. Ken Norman has 10. The Knicks lead 53-40. 4/10 of a second remaining. Norman loosening up the arm. They need a deflection for it to count, and that will do it. Looked like an outfielder warming up before he was about to fire the ball from deep in the corner in right field. So that's the end of the half. And once again, on behalf of all of us here at MSG Network, a happy St. Patrick's Day. The Knicks by 13. Will be back after these words.
There are a lot of very fine men's stores in
Minolta, makers of the new Freedom 105EX, only from the mind of Minolta. If the Knicks can continue to get point guard play from both of their point guards like they've gotten in the past couple of games, watch Greg Anthony start some things here.
Yeah, Greg has been the catalyst for the Knicks, looting and dishing. That time Mason the recipient. And watch Greg here, good anticipation again. He's second on the team in looting, second in dishing with 4 per game. This time Herb Williams the recipient. So an excellent job by Greg Anthony.
Knicks playing great defense again, and their ball movement on offense was very much in working order.
Watch this. Ewing get an excellent position. He's about 6 feet away. Poor defense by Baker. So Ewing drills the jumper.
And speaking of Baker, Clyde, it looks as though he's got all the skills. I think he's just playing out of position.
Right. It's 6'10", 250. Good agility. This time duping Ewing with the alley-oop.
So that's where we are. In case you can't see it on your screens at home, Clyde is in the St. Patty's Day spirit. The tie is green, but a little bit dark green. Be good on the radio. Back with Marvin John in a moment. Well, the luck of the green wasn't with the Bucks in the first half. Now the second half with Marvin Johnny Hoops.
You know, that's a familiar voice. I think we heard it on, as they say, John, the tease at the Open. It was another fine attempt by Al as we check out the halftime statistics.
Al is a little out of control.
He certainly is.
But he loves it. All Knicks in the first half. 52% field goal percentage. Unbelievable domination from the boards. Look at the bench. 22-0. And the assists are right along with the rest of the fine numbers. Toyota matchup of the evening. The Bucks come in undermanned, but they bring in a young man with a very bright future in Vin Baker. Double figures in points. Patrick Ewing, equal number of points, and pretty even matchup. Baker with 4 blocks already in this game.
High point man of the game, Anthony Mason, 13 points. Patrick Ewing has 12, and Baker, as you saw, with 12. The Knicks at 43-19. They've won 7 straight. That's the longest win streak of the season. It actually matches their longest win streak. They won their first 7 games this season. And the Knicks are tied with Atlanta for top spot in the Eastern Conference. Hawks not scheduled tonight. They play the Pacers at Indiana tomorrow night. This is a 3-pointer. Blue Edwards hits from downtown. And now they corrected. He was on the line. It's a 2-point field goal for Edwards. Knicks lead 53-42. Davis with the fake on Barry. Yes. And the Knicks again have a 13-point lead. The Knicks are also 5.5 games in front of the Orlando Magic. Orlando not scheduled tonight. Magic with a win last night. Just did get by the Dallas Mavericks
Marv, you mentioned that game, and I was looking at the box score. I could not believe Shaquille O'Neal was 12 for 12 from the foul line.
Yes.
Shocking.
Showed some signs late in the game on Sunday against Phoenix. You know, Buzz Brayman, who is a free throw shooting specialist, has been working with Shaquille. I don't know if that's the reason that he's picked it up, or it's just one of those things, an aberration. Baker tried to do it off the dribble. Very fortunate to maintain possession, but the Bucks give it back off the traveling violation committed by Norman.
Mike Dunleavy not happy with that play, although had to be impressed how Baker solved his way through what would look like an upcoming turnover.
Minute 40 gone by in the third, and the Knicks lead by 13 points. Harper, yes. Derek Harper, 4 of 6. He has 9, and the Knicks have their biggest lead of the game. It's a margin of 15. Edwards backing his way on Bonner. Davis stepped out. Hubert Davis looking to put the move on the baseline. Stepped out of bounds.
Hubert tied with Greg Anthony in the first half with 4 assists each. Hubert played 15 minutes, 2 out of 5 from the field. Greg only played 9 minutes with 4 assists and 3 steals.
Barry from deep. Back comes Bonner. Bottled up, lost it to Baker. Barry called for a travel, undecided. Not certain whether to go with the drive or to give it up.
Yes, he was unselfish in his response, but dragged his foot as he tried to make the right decision.
Well, following tonight's game, Knicks with a day of rest or a day of practice tomorrow. And then Saturday afternoon, home for the Celtics. 1 o'clock game, Knicks game out at 12:30. Tuesday, they'll play the Bulls here at the Garden. Charles Oakley extending to a 59-42 lead, and Mike Dunleavy has called for time. 9:07 left in the third. The Knicks in the midst of a 10-2 run and have pulled away to a 17-point lead. One of those games, John, where you're a coach, you don't like to see it, but you have the feeling the Knicks can do whatever they want against the Bucks. You have players waving to people in the crowd, saying hello, you know, dropping by, talking to courtside guests. Not a good sign, but under these circumstances, you do not feel a great deal of tension in this contest. Baker is fouled by Oakley.
Well, there's always pressure with Pat Riley at the helm, and he'll be very concerned if he sees players waving to the crowd. He's all business, as is Dick Carter to his left there, and these are the danger kind of games as well. We've seen teams come in and be real loose and make 60% of their shots in a game like this, like the Bucks could do, and the Knicks could be flat. They have been flat in games like this before. In fact, they were flat the last time they played in Milwaukee, and the Knicks barely escaped that game with a win in a game they played without Patrick Ewing.
Knicks now lead by 15. Lee Mayberry is back for the Bucks, and he's guarding Derek Harper. Harper tried to lose him off a pick. Ewing, and Barry gets to it. Delivers to Edwards. The Knicks now lead 59-46. Knicks have led by as many as 17. Oakley, yes. Knicks shooting has been excellent. They're at 51% for the night. Bucks at 40% on 17 of 42. Bucks a poor shooting team. Mayberry, three-point attempt by Lee Mayberry. Bucks are last in shooting in the league. Hopper goes all the way, lost the handle. Here's Edwards.
Oh, come on, baby.
And the Knicks lead is now 13. Milwaukee averages 96 points a game. Only Dallas is worse, and they shoot about 45%. 7.5 remaining in the third quarter. Off the double team, Ewing gets it out, takes the return pass, again double teamed, and hits. The Knicks 63, Milwaukee 48.
Harper picking up some assists here in the second half. I was amazed to look at the statistics at halftime, and in 15 minutes, Harper did not have one assist in the first half.
Nice behind-the-back delivery from Mayberry.
That reminded me so much of Mark Jackson to Patrick Ewing, that behind-the-back pass.
Knicks 63, Bucks 50. Ewing. And the Knicks now lead by 15. 16 points for Ewing. Tuesday night in Miami, Milwaukee lost to the Miami Heat 101-94. That was their 5th straight loss. Lost twice to the Pacers. Edwards for 3. The other losses during that stretch to Sacramento, the Lakers, and Miami. The last win was back on March the 5th against Detroit. Here's Bonner hitting on the reverse. And the last couple of minutes, we have not seen a stop at either end. Knicks lead by 14.
Well, the Knicks, by allowing 40 points in the first half, certainly are on target to keep their opponent under 90 once again.
Oh, Edwards again from downtown. So Lou Edwards with consecutive three-pointers, now has 3 three-point field goals for the game. Bonner unable to handle that pass.
Charles Oakley chastising himself with a couple of slaps on his own head as he came up court, knowing that he made that too difficult for Bonner to catch. But Bonner is Mr. Effort, like Charles Oakley at all times.
The Knicks lead is down to 11. Norman on a quick release. Hopper for Davis for 3. And Edwards with the rebound. So the Bucks are battling their way back into it, trailing by as many as 17. Here's Edwards off the drive. Back comes Davis. It's a 3-on-2. Davis behind the back. Davis all the way. Rebound Bonner. Anthony Bonner with the follow. And the Knicks now lead 69-56.
Earlier this season, Bonner had his season high for the Knicks, as a Knick player rather, at 17 points against these Milwaukee Bucks.
Mayberry backing his way. Lee Mayberry in his second season out of Arkansas, first-round draft pick a year ago. Hopper looking for the steal. Edwards with the recovery, challenged Ewing and drew the foul. Just did beat the 24-second clock. Ewing called for his second.
He has physical confidence in his body. I refer to Blue Edwards, who saw Patrick Ewing coming at him, and that didn't stop him. 6'4", one of the rare people at 6'4" who can play the forward position in the NBA.
Correction, that was Ewing's first foul. Knicks with their second team foul. Edwards with 16 points and finally hits from the line. 1 for 5 from the foul line.
Amazing how a guy can make 3-point shots, bang, 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 and has trouble at the foul line at 15 feet when the 3-point shots are at 23 feet plus.
Hopper. Well, Derek Hopper has certainly found the touch. Had the excellent game against the Pacers here on Tuesday. Another solid performance tonight. 11 points, 5 of 8 from the field, along with 5 assists. Knicks getting very strong play from the point guard position. Greg Anthony played well in the second quarter. Shot clock at 4. It's down to 2. Edwards. Rebound, Barry. Barry for Norman, and he is fouled. Now that is the second committed by Ewing. So Ken Norman to the line for the first time. And Ken Norman, you know, John, I had to check this a second time. I know Ken Norman is not a good free throw shooter, but you look at the sheet and, you know, you see numbers like 75%, 80%. You see Norman 48%.
Not good.
That's correct. Not good.
Yes. From the line.
48%. 62 for 129.
Now there's a job. If Mike Dunleavy was a good guy. Perfect. If Mike Dunleavy was a good guy, he'd get John Barry to dial up his dad, get him to come to the Bucks practice site and work with Norman on the foul shooting.
And everyone will be shooting underhanded.
Nobody will try it. Amazing.
He sold it to one guy, George Johnson.
Yes. Swat Johnson, who's back now with the NBA Players Association.
Right. Good man, George.
Players Association?
NBA. He is. There is an affiliation with the league, John. And as Hopper hits to give the Knicks a 73-60 lead.
I think it's with the NBA. Nice to see George back in basketball.
We'll have our staff check it out. Timeout is called. 3:14 remaining in the third. And they have changed it to a 20-second timeout. The Knicks lead by 13. Derek Hopper was upset. He thought he had a three-pointer, but the official said he stepped on the line. High point man of the game, Ewing with 16, 13 apiece for Hopper and Mason, and Blue Edwards caught fire in this third quarter. 17 points in all for Edwards.
Saturday at 7 p.m. following Yankees scorecard, you can catch preseason baseball as the Yankees take on the Chicago White Sox from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right here on MSG Network.
Blue Edwards has scored 14 of the Bucks' 20 points here in the third. We come up on 3 minutes remaining in the quarter. Edwards is rocked. Fouled by Mason. So that is 2 on Mason.
Over this season, the Bucks under Mike Dunleavy had made some interesting personnel moves. One of them being the trading of Frank Burkowski, who is leading this team in scoring, to Charlotte. Danny Shays to the Los Angeles Lakers, and Anthony Avent to Orlando. And it was all based on futures. Mike Jaminski, by the way, who you just saw, came from Charlotte. All based on futures, and that is that this team wants to acquire as many first-round draft picks that they can to change the look of the Milwaukee Bucks into a winning franchise.
Charles Smith, and Baker got a piece of it. The pass intended for Baker, picked off by Derek Hopper.
I want to make my correction on George Johnson's reference before. He has become affiliated with the NBA Players Association.
Knicks 75 and the Bucks 62. Back comes Mayberry. Knicks able to stop that fast break attempt. Baker. And he'll go to the line. Greg Anthony checking back in. Ewing called for the foul. We'll be right back.
Catch the Knicks versus the Boston Celtics Saturday at 12:30 after a special edition of New York Knicks Game Night here on MSG. Junior.
Our schools have been called Long Island's heartbeat. Among
A team that is led in scoring by Eric Murdoch, who's averaging only 14.9 points per game. A look at the lowest point averages leading teams this season. Anthony Peeler, 14.1. Top scorer on the Los Angeles Lakers. Dino Rajda, who's played very well recently. He's picked it up, but he's the high point man for the Celtics at 14.4. And then to more respectability with the likes of Christian Laettner, just under 17 per game. Eric Murdoch tonight, though, only 3 for 9, 6 points. Frank Burkowski was leading the Bucks in scoring, but as you mentioned a moment ago, was dealt to Charlotte.
One of the things Mike Dunleavy mentioned also, he said, here, at one point during the season, we had a 3-game winning streak, and we're being led by Frank Burkowski, and he said, then he thought, this guy's 34 years old. Where's he going to take us? So the result that Frank got traded, he had value, certainly, to Charlotte, and in return, the Bucks got a #1 draft pick.
And are also cutting into that salary cap situation as they prepare to make additional moves. Anthony with a gorgeous pass. Greg Anthony has been at the top of his game. Greg, coming back from the bout with the flu, has done it with 5 assists. Came up with 3 steals in the first half. Rolando Blackman and Greg Anthony now in the backcourt, replacing Hubert Davis and Derek Hoffer. Nice move by Vin Baker, showing his quickness. He now has 18 points.
As much in control as the Knicks appear to be right now, there's still a couple of fast breaks away from a difficult time. They've got to continue to play hard against this young team that's not looking at the scoreboard. They're just playing hard.
Smith had it knocked away, could not recover. We come up on 1 minute remaining in the third, and the Knicks lead by 11. Lou Edwards has helped shoot the Bucks back into it here in this third quarter. Baker, Ewing with the rebound. Anthony looking in the direction of Blackman. Rolando Blackman is now 2 of 4 from the field. That jump shot had to feel very good.
Rolando has continued to get great support from Pat Riley, even in his low shooting moments. And Pat's being rewarded also as Rolando's got the touchback so far.
Knicks 79, Bucks 66. Shot clock at 5. Baker from deep. Mason with the rebound, showing the strong hands, directing traffic.
Ewing all alone under the basket. Finally, Anthony throws that ball cross court, and Patrick is missed. A missed opportunity for Ewing.
Final seconds of the third. Baker off a nice feed. Edwards. It counts. Sensational third quarter for Blue Edwards. 18 of his 21 here in the third, and 18 of the Bucks' 26 in the third scored by Edwards.
And by Mobil 1. It keeps your engine running like new.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutwood, Walt Clyde Frazier heading to the fourth with the Knicks up by 11.
Some interesting long-distance shooting brought to you by AT&T. Blue Edwards with the 18-point third quarter, red hot. That's one of his 3 three-point shots that he's made. He's 3 out of 5 from that range.
18 of the Bucks' 26 points scored by Blue Edwards. Ewing, and the Knicks now lead 81-68. Unusual third quarter, as our statistician Dave Freed points out. A quirk. The Bucks did not commit a foul, John, in the third quarter. It's one you do not see very often.
They were gentlemen.
Yes.
Or as Mike Dunleavy might say, they were asleep.
Well, perhaps things not being called at times. Anthony and Blackman in the backcourt. Smith with Mason and Ewing. Up front, here's Anthony. That was a three-point attempt. Lohaus with the box out. Murdoch back on the floor handling. Knicks are 57% from the field on 37 for 66. And the Bucks still at 40%. Baker. Shot clock at 3. Traveling violation call.
Brad Lohaus's position with this franchise seems to be dipping. He's playing an average of 14 minutes a game this season.
Herb Williams, who collared 7 rebounds in the first half. Herb came off the bench. 7 rebounds in 7 minutes. Replaced Patrick Ewing. Ewing sitting down with 20 points, 11 rebounds.
Interesting watching the reaction of some players throughout this game. To our right, as we mentioned in the first half, Ray Williams is sitting with his brother Gus behind him, and Ray always has a lot to say. So he's getting reaction as Eric Murdoch gets a nice pass and converts. Ray reminding himself what the Garden floor is like once again for his upcoming performance Saturday afternoon.
Charles Smith with a strong move. Brad Lohaus hit the floor. Knicks lead by 13. And that call away from the ball. It's on Blackman. There's Ray enjoying the contest, chatting with fans. And there is brother Gus.
Now you might ask, why isn't Gus playing Saturday? And the answer to that, should you ask, is that Gus is going to St. Martin tomorrow. He requires prior plans.
Yes, a wise choice. Baker with the reverse. The basket counts on the foul called on Herb Williams. Gus looks in terrific shape.
Boy, it's hard to believe he couldn't help somebody in this league. Nice lead pass to Vin Baker, who's creative with that back to the basket hoop.
I think Ray will be unleashing some shots from various angles on Saturday.
Well, if Red calls his number, Red Holzman that is, I think Ray would be happy to oblige. Although I think Ray used to hoist him when his number wasn't called pretty well too.
Knick lead is now 10. Blackman for 3. Yes. Rolando Blackman 3 for 6. 7 points. And he came into tonight 2 of his last 19. So he is able to snap out of it. Bad pass and too much on it. Recovered by Baker. Knick lead is 13. 3 minutes gone by. In the fourth, 1 extra head fake by Baker. Williams did not go for it. And Baker lost it. And there is Dennis Johnson, who is scouting for the Boston Celtics, assistant coach with the Celtics. Man who had the distinction, as Mason is not able to hit on the reverse, playing with Gus Williams and Ray Williams. Dennis played with Ray Williams when Ray finished up his NBA career with the Boston Celtics, and Dennis in Seattle with Gus Williams.
That's some backcourt. Dennis Johnson and Gus.
Knicks 86 and the Bucks 73. Knicks 31 zip off the bench. Rolando Blackman showing a little tension here.
Yes,
a bit upset with himself, and he is taking it out in other ways.
He's a perfectionist as he slammed that ball down, because he felt, I would think, that he should have intercepted that pass that he deflected quite nicely.
Rolando did pick up a technical foul earlier. And Ronnie Nunn indicating illegal defense. Pat Riley does not agree, and that leads to the technical foul.
Blackman was caught in what he thought was a double teaming position, but he wasn't close enough in his attempt to help out on defense. Wasn't close enough to the offensive man, and his man was quite a distance away.
Eric Murdoch hitting on the technical. Knicks lead 86-74. Here's Ken Norman checking back in, replacing Blue Edwards. It's a nice pat from Coach Mike Dunleavy. It was Blue who shot the Bucks back into it with that performance in the third quarter. Lohaus. He can hit from the outside, and that's the first field goal for a member of the Milwaukee bench. First Buck points off the bench. Knicks lead by 10. Anthony stripped. Nice play by Mayberry. Here's Murdoch on the run. Slowed up by Blackman. Lohaus for three. Rebounded by Mason. Blackman. Yes. Rolando Blackman, a major contributor. Rolando now 4 of 8. He has 9 points. The Knicks lead 88-76.
What is solid for the Knicks is their ball movement tonight. They're not hesitating to find the open man. That was Lee Mayberry, who doesn't do much shooting for this team. On a nice drive.
The Knicks lead is now 10. Williams on a pick and roll. And back comes Baker. Nice pass off the dribble from Murdoch. Here's Norman shooting the three. That's one he'd like to have again. The Knicks take a timeout. 6:57 remaining in the fourth.
Let's talk smart. Let's talk Eagle Vision.
The Bucks have been piling up the points here in the second half. I'm worried.
Lohaus with the move on Herb Williams, and Williams called for steps. That 54-55 Syracuse Nats team coached by Al Servey. A look at the roster. Familiar names: Dolph Schayes, Paul Seymour, Red Rocha, Red Kerr, Earl Lloyd, George King. Tommy Simmons, one time Nick was on the team, I think, for a brief period of time. Lohaus for three.
That may be the only team that had 2 Reds on it.
I never thought of it that way. 3-second violation is called. Things getting a bit sloppy. And now Patrick Ewing replaces Herb Williams, who was upset about that prior call. I'm thinking Red Klotz. Let's see. Play with Red Klotz.
A lot of guys you never heard of. You played for Red Klotz once. I played for him once.
We did. Nice move by Baker. And the Knicks now lead 88-80 after leading by as many as 17 with 5:50 to go in the fourth.
Got to credit the Bucks for their intensity in staying in this game, and they're very determined and are making it very difficult for Pat Riley to be free with his substitutions. The Knicks do not have this game all the way. Patrick Ewing falling down after that defensive fake from behind.
Baker called for the foul, his third. Ewing, yes, beautiful touch by Patrick Ewing, who has 22.
You got to think, too, to some degree, Baker has to be intimidated by Patrick Ewing. I mean, this is the first time he's gone head-to-head with him for a prolonged period. His rookie year now. Imagine how long he's heard about Patrick Ewing in the Knicks, and here he is, matched up with him all game.
It's a 2-on-1. Smith, yes. Charles Smith. 7 points for Smith. The Bucks call for time with 5 minutes, 6 seconds left in the fourth. The Knicks lead 92-80.
Flores said, hey, who are these people? Right. And 3 months later, we're world champions. They say, that's a miracle.
Shop.
And next Thursday, the Knicks will go out to Minnesota for their annual visit.
And there is Lennox Lewis. Has a heavyweight fight coming up against, John, would you believe, Phil Jackson.
Oh.
And that'll be in May in Atlantic City. Don't want you to be confused. Phil Jackson, the boxer, going up against Lennox Lewis.
Not the Phil Action Jackson we know, right?
Although Phil could hurt you with the elbows in close quarters. Knicks lead 92-80. Air ball thrown by Murdoch, although he thought he was pushed. We're just under 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Lennox Lewis, a disappointing fighter. I recall in the Olympics, he was a hot prospect. Defeated Riddick Bowe in the Olympics in Seoul. And he's fallen back. He won the gold in Seoul. You remember the Shamshil Students Gymnasium, John? I know you spent quality time there.
Enjoyed being there, watching you cower under a table as you were broadcasting.
Yes.
Afraid for things being
there were some anxious moments at times. That's what happens when you work with the fight doctor. And it was staff members doing the throwing of debris in the direction of Ferdy Pacheco.
I think Lennox Lewis, though, feels a lot more confident now to face Riddick than he did then.
You have this all analyzed.
I do. I'm a very big fan, and watching his development, particularly his right hand.
Yeah. I know you follow it very closely.
I
do. Knicks lead 94-80 with 4.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Shot clock at 5. Baker hitting over Ewing. It has been a very impressive performance for the rookie Vin Baker. 25 points, 10 rebounds. The Knicks maintaining possession. This game 3 of a 5-game homestand for the Knicks. Celtics here Saturday afternoon. Chicago next Tuesday. And then road games, as John mentioned, coming up against Minnesota and Indiana. Mason on the follow. And the Knicks now lead 96-82. If the Knicks can hold on here, they will take over the top spot of the Eastern Conference by a half game over the Atlanta Hawks, who are not scheduled tonight.
I gotta go.
Baker off the mark with a forced shot. Hawks will play the Pacers at Market Square in Indianapolis tomorrow. Anthony for 3. Back tap by Smith. Knicks get the new 24.
Pat Riley with an interesting mix of his personnel now, with Rolando Blackman with his hot hand getting a lot of time. Greg Anthony back after missing most of the last game. Oh, Anthony Mason, what a tough drive. And the finish with the right hand.
Anthony Mason with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and the Knicks now lead 98-82. Stay right here, says Ronnie Nunn. Foul is called. It's on Blackman.
Mason's a left-handed player. Most left-handed players go left. Mason can go right and use that right hand successfully.
John Barry checking back in, replacing Brad Lohaus. Lohaus with a field goal for 2. Double team on Murdoch. Barry challenged Smith, and then Ewing claiming he was fouled. No call made. Blackman on the run. Oh, he's fouled. Held by Edwards. And Rolando took a shot in the stomach.
Blackman moving up court with Greg Anthony with a determined move to the basket. Blue Edwards made sure that Blackman didn't get that shot off.
Rolando Blackman relocating the jump shot here tonight. 4 of 8 from the field. He has 9 points. Timeout is called by the Bucks. 2:38 remaining in the fourth, and the Knicks lead by 16.
Teamwork. It's the cornerstone of any championship season.
On the Milwaukee Bucks, on the way to making it 3 out of 3 this season against the Bucks, who have lost 5 in a row, have won only 17 and dropped 45.
Bucks have only scored 86 points against the Knicks. That happens to be the number of the 2 games they've played, so looks as like they'll go over 86. But the Knicks are hoping they can keep them under 90, keep that streak alive.
And the Knicks gunning for the 8th straight win, which will be their longest win streak of the season. Rolando Blackman missed his first free throw, so that stops the streak. He had hit 18 straight. The Knicks 99 and the Bucks 82. Blackman has 10 points. Blackman guarding Barry. Baker rejected by the combination of Ewing and Smith.
Great team defense there. Help coming Ewing's way. Charles Smith.
Smith. And it's tipped home. Now Smith will get credit. I think it was a buck that might have gotten a piece of it.
Well, if you work hard, sometimes you get the rewards, and that's what happened to Charles.
Knicks lead 101, 82. Murdoch, he's been off. 1:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. So the Knicks are on their way to making it 8 consecutive games, holding the opponent under 90 points, and that will be an NBA record. Patrick Ewing extends to a 103-82 lead, an NBA record in the so-called modern era, following the inception of the 24-second clock, which was the brainchild of the legendary owner of the Syracuse Nationals, Danny Biasone. Barry for 3.
I didn't think the Knicks were going to succeed in holding them under 90 the way it was looking about 5 minutes ago, but they tightened up their defense, and the Bucks have lost the touch as well.
Bucks with only 14 points this fourth quarter. Down to 45 seconds remaining in the game. Barry is held. Herb Williams coming on for Patrick Ewing. So the final stat line on Ewing, 11 of 16, 26 points, 13 rebounds.
Big game for Patrick, solid game certainly, and yet I'm sure Vin Baker has earned the respect of Patrick Ewing. One thing you have to say about the Bucks, Marv, on a positive note, is that they have made their commitment to youth clear. They've traded players, some big people that they need this season, perhaps, but they're looking ahead to the future, and it's very clear that the Milwaukee Bucks have a plan, and they're living by it. Unlike some teams who seem to float along in their dismal times without what appears to be a plan of attack, but the Bucks have designed this plan and are staying with it.
Knicks lead by 20.
That really is building through the draft. That's the way Mike Dunleavy feels, the only way they can get better.
And the foul on Baker. Down to 18 seconds to go. Blackman to the foul line.
This game has reached the point, of course, in the closing seconds where players on both teams tend to check the crowd during foul shooting situations. See who's here, see who they might know. The normal distractions that come about when the outcome is quite clear.
Well, we have seen the distractions hit early in this particular game. Knicks now lead 105-83. 15 seconds to go. Baker. Final seconds as Greg Anthony just dribbles it out, and the Knicks defeat the Bucks with a solid performance, 105-83, and they are now on top in the Eastern Conference by a half game over Atlanta. And they've tied an NBA record, tied the Syracuse Nationals of the 1954-55 season. 8 straight games holding the opposition under 90 points. So the Knicks, with their 8th straight win, now a half game in front of the Atlanta Hawks, and in the race in their division, they're now 6 over Orlando. The Magic not scheduled tonight. Knicks 3 over Chicago, and they're 6 games in front of the Magic.
Ball movement, big part of his game. Watch this move going into the lane, right through Brad Lohaus, and up with the right hand. Beautifully done by Anthony Mason, who now joins us on the floor. Mason, it's been a while since we've seen you offensively involved as you were in this game. What was the difference?
Well, first, I want to thank God for making it all possible. But today I was just more aggressive, and I think I ran out a lot more. You know, I'm getting back. Well, I would try to get back to, you know, what I was noted for, my speed and quickness, and that gets you a lot of easy baskets.
Hey, you said to me that you were a little worried. Your ankle swelled up yesterday for no apparent reason. Boy, it didn't show in this game.
I didn't know what happened, but today, you know, with the help of Mike Saunders and everybody in the back, you know, it was good enough for me to be able to run and play.
Now, Anthony, there's some records that teams recognize and want to, you know, take part in on the floor. Did you guys know that you could tie an NBA record by keeping this team under 90 points? Because when they hit 80, it seemed as a certainty that this record was not going to happen, and there you guys tie it.
Yeah, they had 80 with, like, what, 5 minutes left or something like that? And
it's under 6.
And we looked at each other, and we was like, you know, we just wanted to, as a goal, to keep it under 90. I didn't know it was a tie for the record. I knew it had some, you know, somewhere in the vicinity of the record. But it was just the ultimate goal to keep players under 90. When we keep players under 90, our percentages for winning are great.
So the team was thinking about it?
Oh, at the, like you said, right below the 6-minute mark, when they got 80, we looked at each other on the bench and said, hey, we got to put the clamps on.
In your mind, what's been the key to 8 consecutive wins? There's been, you know, a lot of adversity involved, and of course you lose John, and it doesn't show on the scoreboard.
Just getting back to playing Knicks basketball, up in your face, aggressive, ball pressure, post defense. It's all a big part of it. But what we're doing now that we hadn't been doing was running out. We're running out a lot more. We're getting easy baskets, you know, forcing their defense to run back, and they're getting tired. You know, when we let a team set up in their half-court defense, we have problems.
Well, you could argue the greatest NBA defensive teams of all time, but it's certainly, if you're able to go 9 games and do something that no NBA team has ever done, and that's hold opponents under 90 points, you could be standing alone there in terms of comparison and defensive achievement. So do you think that this will be something the Knicks will be thinking about again on Saturday?
Well, I think we're thinking about the victory first, and then the fact that we're a half game up now in the East. But that's first and foremost to win. But then, like I said, when we hold teams under 90, our percentages for winning are great. So we're going to try to, you know, do it again.
How did you see today's game?
I saw it as Knicks basketball. You know, when we're playing our game and not letting the other team play their game, and like I said, that's up in your face, aggressive rebounding and everything, then we're in good shape. So I saw it as Knicks basketball again.
It seemed as though one of the large reasons you were successful tonight is that you mixed up an outside game and an inside game. How do you do that as the game moves along?
Like I said, first you get some runouts, and you get your man tired enough, and then you have great penetration with Derek Harper and Greg Anthony, and they hitting open men, and you just got to concentrate and knock the shots down.
And we saw you run the floor tonight. You get that smile on your face after those. You really do enjoy that.
Oh, I enjoy running out, you know, and receiving the ball and converting. You know, last game I missed a few little chippies under the basket, which really frustrated me, and I was concentrating on going up strong, in the paint.
I look at a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, a lot of good, young, talented players, but the one thing that seems to stand out is that as a team, they haven't made the same commitments to unselfishness and the same commitments to defense that your team has. Do you see that when you watch another team like this in this league or not?
We don't really too much concentrate on, what other teams are doing. We know when we don't play unselfish, we have problems. So we figure to play unselfish and to get after it will only bring you success. And if the other teams are not doing that when they're playing against us, that's better for us.
When the team was losing 4 games in a row, you work on certain things in practice. What about tomorrow? What do you think you're going to hear from Pat Riley in practice after winning 8 in a row?
I mean, he's going to say it's a good effort, but then, it was things that we didn't do. In the first half, I think we got 12 turnovers or something on, fast break turnovers and, turnovers not caused by the defense. You don't want those. That's, you're in a big, tough game. That's going to cost you.
Well, Anthony Mason, part of a Knick bench effort that outscored Milwaukee's bench 44-4. As always, though, in spite of winning by more than 20, few things to tinker with. Thanks, Anthony.
All right, thank you.
All right, Anthony Mason, our player of the game tonight, as the Knicks win their 8th straight. And for joining us, guests receive the American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy anything, just about anywhere. Gift checks are available where American Express traveler's checks are sold. And some of our guests receive a watch from Fendi, the 900 series, registered Italian design, finely crafted in Switzerland with an ETA quartz movement for precision timekeeping. Water resistant to 165 feet. Now we go inside the hallways outside the Knick locker room. Here's Pat Riley.
Yeah, I just think it's, it's a great achievement. I don't care what, what anybody says about it, to be able to, show that you care about, playing defense and, holding somebody, under 90 for 8 consecutive games. It's something that you don't take lightly. It shows a lot of pride that you want to achieve something, and knowing that the end result probably from that is going to be a win. So I just think our guys, against an opponent that we should have beaten, not only accomplished that, but accomplished something they're taking pride in right now. And we got some good, steady performances from a lot of guys. Just a good night for us. We want to keep rolling, and I think the best thing about it is we've been, fighting uphill for the last, 10 days, and, just a week ago we said we were 3 games behind Atlanta, and now we're half a game ahead of them, and we just got to keep pushing it, keep rolling.
When did you guys bring out the bench tonight?
The bench was, I thought when Herb came in, he had a great, he had a great stint in the first half. Mace, when he's like that and scoring and rebounding, we're going to be a very good team. There are some times that we don't go to Mace, and he might be out there for 8 or 9 or 10 minutes, and maybe not a whole lot of things are happening for him. But he's the kind of player that he has to get things on his own a lot. And he's capable of doing that. And tonight I thought he did that. I thought Rowe bounced back real good. I knew he would. And he's very aggressive with the ball. And so our bench really stepped up tonight.
How was Greg feeling? Do you have any thoughts on he wouldn't play?
We had him in an incubator in there for about 15 minutes, If you saw him this morning come to practice, he looked like he was, about ready to die. But he bounced back pretty good. He was real sick. And I thought he had a real steady game for us tonight.
Can you talk about Hubert Davis' performance over the last 7 games?
Well, he's playing, I think, getting more confidence. I think that's what it's about. We have a lot of confidence in him. If we can create open shots for him, he's not forcing the issue, which is good. And I think whatever he is getting, I think he's going to make them. I'd like to try to get him, we have to get him 10, 12 shots a game. So I do want him to be a little bit selfish from the standpoint when we do go to him, he's got to be looking for the shot. And but he's just gaining more and more confidence, and as he does that, the team will gain more in him too.
Coach, at the end, was there a conscious effort to keep it under 90? Because they had 80 with like 5 minutes left.
Well, I think once it got down to about the 2-minute mark, our guys perked up a little bit. And I wrote 90 on my blue pad over there, and I think they sort of caught wind of that. So, why not keep having something to shoot for? That is a very positive thing. So they were conscious of it, yes.
Derek said to tell him right from the start. He picked up Murdoch, right on the ball, right.
He does that every night. So we have 2 of the best on-ball defenders, in the league. Both he and Greg, when they're into it defensively and they feel lively, they create some problems out there. You know, the book right now on Derek and on both of our guards is to really back off both those guys. And Derek's gaining more and more confidence with his shot, and he's going to step in and take those shots. And if he makes a number of them, it's just going to open up more and more things in the post.
All right there.
Okay.
Comments on Vin Baker? Vin Baker? Thoughts on Vin Baker?
Very talented player. You know, Mike, I think, is forced a little bit right now to play him. I don't know what his position is. He's, you know, 6'10", 6'11", but, you know, because of, you know, their team and not having a center, a legitimate center other than Jaminski, you know, they're playing him in that position. But to me, he looks like a natural forward that can play both spots. And, you know, when they get another, I think, center that they're going to start, he's going to be a very talented player. He has a lot of potential, and he's very, very quick in the post. You know, so they got a nice draft choice there. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
The Coaches Conference brought to you by Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car, and it's been a different kind of streak with the New York Knicks. We'll get the clubhouse report from both the Bucks and the Knicks and tell you who scored how many as we continue post-game from the Garden. Bothered when he moved inside against Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. Blue Edwards had 21 points after 3, 18 in the third quarter, and then the Bucks didn't go to him in the fourth quarter. Part of their problems, part of the reason why the Knicks were able to beat them 105-83. He's been inside the Bucks locker room, he has, in the past few minutes. Michael Kay, and what kind of mood did you find in there, Mike?
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, this team realizes that it's building and it's going to get better, and they look at a guy like Vin Baker, who they're building around, and they could see some positive things. Mike Dunleavy said these are all tests for Baker, and Baker goes up against Patrick Ewing and also against a great defense like the Knicks and puts 25 points on the board. Also, Baker's hand is almost split in half with the 15 stitches, so he couldn't go to his left hand at all. Still, he managed a fairly decent game against Ewing.
Now, as far as defense and as far as the way the Milwaukee Bucks scored only 3 points in the last 6 minutes to keep that Knick record of under 90 points by opponents alive, what did he have to say about that?
Well, some interesting things. Dunleavy said as great as the Knicks play defense, the thing that makes them a great defensive team, though, is rebounding. He said they're so big on the front line that they only give you one shot. And when you miss that shot, you don't get it back, and the Knicks bring it up on offense. Now, Blue Edwards had some interesting things to say. He said that the Knicks just deny you your sweet spot. They do not let you post up. They do not let you go to the spot on the floor where they know that you can hit the jumper. But he didn't say that they're the best defensive team in the league. He said that honor goes to Seattle. He said Seattle is just relentless in its pressure, and that's the best defensive team they've seen, not the Knicks. Not that the Knicks are bad, he said, but if he saw the Knicks against Seattle, Seattle would be the better defensive team in that game.
Mike, they can talk about the front line and the rebounding all they want, but the ball pressure, I mean, they don't get in position to even get their offense moving until there's 14, 13, 12 seconds on the clock, and that's because of Harper and Anthony.
Absolutely. And you always, if you look at the Knicks bench, you always see Riley go, get up, get up. He always wants you right in the guy's face. But they said that Seattle does that better than the Knicks. They said the Knicks' strength comes in their half court where they're denying you to get to your spot. And yes, they take a lot of seconds up the 24-second clock by pressuring you, but once you get the ball into your half court, they deny you the shot that you want to take.
Now, I don't know if you can see the colors, but Mike's got a little touch of lavender here, and he's got that green carnation. It strikes me it's the colors of the Bucks. They must have loved you when you walked in the locker room.
Big smile, you know, and they said, you know, you really look good. Nice green jacket.
Sure. We'll be back with more. Curtis Bunn's been in the Knick locker room doing the same thing Mike has been, listening, asking, and talking about the Knicks win over Milwaukee. Back in a moment. It's one win better than the 7 wins that started the season. We turn now to the Coke Classic play. There were many moments of great teamwork, and this was really one of them that exemplified passing, movement of the floor, and a little extra dunkarama from Anthony Mason, who had 17 points. Still to come, just a few minutes ahead. It's been a busy week for Mike and Jennifer tonight. Live from the play-by-play, Run DMC leads the list off. Lennox Lewis will also be there. Michael Zaslow and Bernie Mac live from the play-by-play just minutes ahead. Well, here at the Garden, the arena is empty. We're being serenaded by an Irish jig, and you should be ashamed. There is no green on you at all. What's the story?
Green underwear.
We'll have to just take his word for it. How about the Knicks? What are they feeling most special about, do you think? The 90 sub run that they've had, or the fact that they're on top in the Eastern Conference?
I think certainly the fact that they're back on top of the Atlanta Hawks in the conference by a half game. And Charles Oakley said when a team works as hard as we do, you're not going to stay down for so long. He said we took our fall, but now we're back. We want to just maintain.
Now, I know you told me that Rolando Blackman was unavailable in the showers or whatever, but it seemed as though he had a little bit of his confidence back. You watch these guys every day, Curtis. He seemed a little grouchy tonight.
Well, yeah, I think he had a little. He was disappointed in his play, first of all, recently, particularly the last game when he was 0 for 6. But Ro's a competitor, and so when things happen, he's going to be upset about it. But he was aggressive more than anything else, and that's the thing you have to be when you're a shooter. You can't get down and be hesitant about shooting. He shot pretty well tonight, but he looked for a shot, and that's the main thing.
Now, who else did you talk to?
Patrick Ewing, who was joking. Obviously, they were in a pretty good mood, having won 8 in a row, and he said he wasn't doing any interviews. He was joking, saying he was going to go out and celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the emphasis on Patrick. But they're just happy about everything. They're holding teams down. He said they were aware that they were holding teams under 90 points coming into the game, and when the Bucks made a run near the end of the game, they really got into it, and they were cheering guys on from the bench to keep them under 90.
Curtis, is there any talk in the locker room about how it seems as though the Knicks can flick on and off this defensive squeeze? I mean, the Bucks were at 80 points with 6 minutes to go, and then you would want to say to the Knicks, all right, let's not let them do it, and they didn't. It was remarkable.
Yeah, well, one thing that happens is when you're comfortably in front, I think the other team is not playing the kind of teamwork basketball that they play early in the game when it's competitive. And when they're doing that in combination with the Knicks' hustle on defense, that extra hustle, because they're trying to achieve something, I think that's what happens. They don't score, and the Knicks get some block shots, and the Knicks are just a great defensive team also.
All right, Curtis, thanks a lot.
Sure.
That's the report from the Knicks locker room. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks by 22 tonight. That's 8 in a row, and we'll continue postgame at the Garden in just a moment. Herb Williams contributed too.
Catch the Knicks versus the Boston Celtics Saturday at 12:30 after a special edition of New York Knicks Game Night here on MSG.
A lot of MCI customers confess they didn't get the savings they hoped for.
We tried MCI.
We were moving. Margaret called and said if we put both
After that in the game, that was early on as the Knicks out-rebound Milwaukee 54-28 and just roll through the fourth quarter. 105-83. The Knicks have tied an NBA record, almost 40 years old, shutting 8 opponents in a row below 90 points. They could stand alone with the record if they can do the same thing to the Boston Celtics on Saturday. Game night for a game day begins our coverage Saturday at 12:30. You can hear the game on the Fan. Coming up next, we'll take you live to the play-by-play with Mike Francesa and Jennifer Smith. For Marv Albert, John Andres, Walt Clyde Frazier, Michael Kay, and Curtis Bunt, I'm Al Troutwig. We'll see you Saturday again on MSG. Thanks for joining us tonight, courtside, where the Knicks win by 22.
There's a new meaning to the term work.
And Zubac really get it going after a big banging hit behind the net with Roenick and Chelios. Teammates collided and never recovered. Graves with a great shot.
What a play by Kovalov, a beautiful pass.
You see the puck is forced back by Graves. There's Kovalov knocking the puck down. Quick pass, and Eddie Belfour doesn't really see the shot. He knows where the shot's going, but Graves snaps it right up high. It's now a 3-2 Chicago lead. We're still playing 4-on-4.
And Adam Graves has tied Mike Gardner for the second most goals by a Ranger player in a single season. 49, just one away from Vic Hadfield's team record of 50. Graves with a hit along the board. Still skating forward.
Keenan is right up at the Rangers bench, and he's yelling at Sutter.
Well, Daryl Sutter, you've got to understand his frustration. He has 5 starters who are already injured.
Absolutely.
He's seen his players going down.
I understand. Keenan wants to know why the call. He wants to talk to Van Helleman. Who was it that got hurt? I'm not even sure. I
John.
certainly hope it's nothing serious. Now let's see if this is something that could have been avoidable. See, Kovalov is turning. Oh, it's Chelios. See, that was not done with any intent, Sam. In fact, that wasn't even really from behind. It was more on the side. That was not a dirty play in my mind. I mean, there was no intent to hurt the man. Kovalov is battling for the puck along with Chelios. They move in together. He gives him a shot. And because Chelios was 4 feet away from the boards at the time of the bump, he fell into the boards. and there was no intent to injure the man on that play. If Chelios had had his body a foot or two or a yard, 3 feet away. Again, the league has given permission to the Rangers. If he scores number 51, not 50, 51, you'll see a team celebration on the ice.
Just think about it. Vic Hatfield's record has stood for 22 years.
Big deal. One season, I thought LaRouche was going to get there.
Yeah.
And Pierre had trouble scoring the last week.
Hurt his hand.
That's right, too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Forgot about that, actually.
Icing whistled against the Rangers. They'll bring it back. Adam Graves, what a fabulous, fabulous addition he's been to the New York Rangers. This is 3rd season and has developed into one of the star players in the league and a leader on this team. And he has played a strong game tonight, using the body, coming up with his 49th goal as he wears the C in the absence of Mark Messier. Kevin Lowe is close to coming back. His back felt a lot better today. Alexander Karpovtsev skated. Peter Anderson was on the ice. So the Rangers, with some suspensions, with some hurts.
It happened. Kyprios lets it left go, and Kimball throws a bunch of rights. There was bodies flying all over the place. Tikkanen and Belfour having words. Van Helleman separates them. Kimball at one time was in Quebec and then ended up in St. Louis. This is a long,
strong.
Yeah, both
you
of
can
them.
see that.
Some experience there.
And the linesman.
Oh, baby, we're seeing everything tonight.
Tired men.
We are seeing everything here, and the place is going crazy.
6:24 to go in the second. Kyprios and Kimball go off. The Blackhawks leading 3-2, and we'll be right back.
Listen carefully. This is a Maxell videotape. Superior picture, superior sound, superior price. Why use anything else?
At Nobody Beats the Whiz, this 4-pack of Maxell VHS tape is just $7.98. A Maxell Super VHS tape is only $9.98. And a 3-pack of 8mm tape is also $9.98.
Maxell videotape at Nobody Beats the Whiz. It's more than just a pretty picture.
And next week is my 5th wedding anniversary. It's unbelievable how time flies.
Did you get her a present yet?
Yeah, I'm getting her a really nice washer and dryer.
Oh, come on. She'll never forgive you. You got to get her something for her.
It is for her.
No blondes and bikinis.
Get her jewelry.
No sales pitch from the chairman.
Or vacation.
None of that is what made Heineken the #1 imported beer in America.
You think I should take her someplace special?
Definitely.
So maybe I'll take her to Cooperstown.
No.